Hello and welcome to EV Car Share. So I'm Matt and this is one of my opinion pieces, let's say. So not many of my videos are opinion pieces, but I wanted to kind of weave some in, still sticking on the EV cars and cars in general theme. But I thought I kind of wanted to add my own opinion to the many opinions that are out there. I don't know about you, but I get lots of social media comments, stories more, see lots of YouTube stories and videos, and even mainstream news, kind of BBC, Telegraph, etc. on EV car sales. Now, don't know about you, but do I really want to know about it all? Is it really that important? That's what I'm going to talk about now. But first of all, rather than just sitting here, not wasting time, obviously this is an important video, but rather than sitting here, I'm going to go on the move because I've got places to be. So back to you in a moment when I'm on the move. Okay, so we've got going. I say got going, it's very slow moving traffic, so although you'll see stuff going past in the window, it's not exactly going to be quick, and there's not a great deal of road noise. So yeah, as I was saying, EV car sales. Now I don't know about you, but go back 10 years or so before the EV revolution, were people really interested in car sales to the extent that they are now? I would say no, definitely not. So let's have a look into what it's all about, what's happening, why we need to take it all with a massive pinch of salt, and whether we should care or not, really. So point one, I guess, is the statistics. You can choose statistics, make statistics, manage statistics, form a story around statistics, and angle things however suits your agenda. So what you'll see, what you've probably seen, what you'll probably see out there if you search on YouTube, is that you will have all the pro EV channels, all the pro EV news agencies managing or choosing the statistics they want to tell you in order to show you that EV sales are increasing rapidly, that this is fantastic, that it's all going to plan. So they will pick out a particular month or a particular country or a particular area, choose Europe or America or whatever. They may choose a particular brand, like they'll choose Tesla, or they'll choose or Kia or whatever, and they will not manipulate the data. I'm not saying the data is wrong. I'm sure the data is correct. I'm giving them that benefit of the doubt, but I'm saying they will choose the data that fits their story. So they're not taking all the data and telling you the story. They've chosen their story to start with. Now they're going to pick the data that proves it. And then on the other side, you have all the EV haters out there, all the people who want to show that EVs are a terrible thing. From the mainstream media, that would be obviously the Telegraph and Daily Mail and people like that. And they will do the opposite. They've also got an agenda, they've also got their story. So they will have their story and they will choose the data that fits their story. So they will pick that EV sales are down, or that BMW is struggling, or that Volkswagen are closing a plant in Belgium because EVs are destroying the car industry, or whatever they choose to want to say based on what their agenda is, what their story is, what they want to prove. Sorry about the sun, by the way. I can't control the sun. It's a very sunny morning this morning, and every time a lorry goes past, there you go, there's one, it goes dark and it goes bright again. We'll soon be turning right, so it won't be a problem, and the sun will be behind and everything will change all over again. So that was my point number one, was the statistics. So not saying that the statistics are wrong, although there may be some channels out there that are making stories from made up statistics as well, but what you'll find is that it's all just a battle of people with an agenda feel free to choose a side if you want to. Seems to me pointless. Obviously the anti-EV people are wanting to force their agenda that EVs are rubbish, and obviously the pro-EV people are wanting to force their agenda that EVs are the best thing since sliced bread. What they'll end up doing is just pushing their pro or anti story to their readership or their viewership. So all they're doing is telling pro people pro stories, and they're telling anti people anti stories, and it suits their agenda because all they're really after is the clicks, isn't it? They're after the click-throughs so that their advertising can be bolstered. And if you want to support that, then go ahead. I mean, I'm not here to tell you what to do. That's one thing I've always said about this channel. I'm not telling people what to do. I'm just kind of giving my experience. And on this particular video, I'm just giving my opinion. So the other one, point 2, it's not the other one, I think I've got 3 points. Point two is that I don't really care whether or not EV sales go up or down or bobble along or go up a bit and down a bit and so on. I've bought mine. I'm happy with this car. It's a great car. Kia EV6, in case you're not familiar and haven't watched my other videos on the channel. I think it's a great car. I'm pleased with it. It drives really well. I can charge it at home. It's really nice. But do I care whether or not other people buy them? Do I care whether or not Kia make a lot of money or make a smaller amount of money? Not really. I mean, I don't have shares in their company. I don't care whether Kia or Volkswagen or BMW are doing well, Q3 or H1 of 2024 or whatever statistics are being rooted out of the archives by agenda person A or agenda person B. It really doesn't matter. I'm just not bothered. I mean, of course, I would be disappointed if Kia were to collapse completely. It might make my life a bit difficult with sourcing spares or something like that for this car. So I would like that the brand that I've chosen survives, which it seems to be doing. I don't see that there's any issues in the market to that extent. But do I mind whether they do well or do badly? It's not like I'm a Kia fan, like a football fan would support his team. I'm not interested about whether they have a lot of profit or a small amount of profit. It's not, there's nothing in it for me. And I think a lot of people are the same. It's very easy to end up being dragged in or drawn into these sorts of stories and think there's something in it for you, think that you need to take a side, think that you need to support your team. No, you don't. Don't worry about it. It's not really of any interest. Now let's say a company, so this is kind of blending into point 3. So let's say a company like Volkswagen do collapse. So there's a lot of talk earlier in the year that Volkswagen were having to close down factories and they're on the brink of collapse. The latest one is Nissan, by the way. I see online Nissan executive, unnamed of course, but some sort of Nissan executive claims that they have 12 to 14 months to survive or something like that. Again, these stories are very clickbaity. I didn't click on them. I wasn't willing to do so. Just encourages more of these stories. But I'm sure if you did, you'd find that there was a lot of maybes in there, that some unknown executive suggested that maybe there could be possibly a situation where ifs, maybes, possibly buts and whatevers, they're all there. But do I care if they disappear? So let's take Volkswagen for instance, some classic Volkswagens in the past. I mean, I've had the Golf myself. It's a very classic line for Volkswagen. They've had some nice cars, they've had some not so nice cars. They're well known for the Beetle and so on. It would be a shame Let's put it that way. It would be a shame to see them disappear, and I'm sure it would be terrible for people who have jobs there, of course. I don't want to see anybody lose their jobs, but companies do go under, companies spring up, people move jobs, people change careers, these things happen. It's all the way of the world, certainly the Western world, certainly the capitalist kind of regimes, if you want to call them that, in the Western world. But it won't affect me in particular. If Volkswagen disappear, then that's it. Volkswagen disappear. It's happened before to other companies. I mean, we don't drive around in Austins anymore. Don't even drive around in a Saab, although maybe some people do still drive around in a Saab. I used to have a Saab 9.3, very nice car, really enjoyed it. I was disappointed when I couldn't replace it with another new Saab 9.3 because they had gone under, or had stopped making cars at least. Don't know if they're still out there. Are they still out there, Saab, in the aero industry? Because that's where they came from, wasn't it? Aeroplanes. Don't know if they're still making Saab aeroplanes or not. Let me know in the comments down there if you know. It'd be quite interesting. But as I say, cars have come and gone. They have done throughout many years, decades. I remember when I was younger, one of my brother's first cars, it was actually shared between my mum, my brother and my sister, I think, was a Triumph. It was a Triumph Toledo. There was a Toledo, there was a Dolomite, there was the Stag. I remember TR7 when I was little. It was one of the cars that was most sought after when I was a boy. Triumph, they disappeared. Again, plenty of other brands, not just British brands, have come and gone, either snapped up by other brands or just off the face completely. And I think at the moment we are going to see something similar. So there were lots of British car brands back in the 60s and through into the 70s, and then as the Japanese brands started to come onto the market and the European brands became stronger in the UK market, so we went from having just a few British brands, your Rover and your Austin and those sorts of cars, Triumph like I mentioned, into having lots and lots of additional brands, be they Nissan and then Toyota and so on, Mazda. And the market can only hold so many brands. You can't have loads and loads and loads and loads of viable options. Eventually you get to a point where some of them become non-viable, and I think that's where we're heading, with the influx of brands from other new countries now, like China with BYD, and we have those from India or China as well, I guess, for MG. There's India as well are becoming stronger in making cars, so we'll probably see them come into the market soon. That's without looking even further forward, and there's potential for cars coming over from South America or from Africa in the future. That's always a possibility. Not happening right now. China is where they're coming from. I quite like the Neo cars. I particularly, having looked at them online, having seen them, they're available within Europe. They're not available in the UK yet. Probably they just haven't moved over to right-hand drive. Maybe, I don't know. Can you get them in Australia, Japan? Probably. So they probably have got a right-hand drive version. They just haven't pierced into the UK yet. With all these extra brands, there will be casualties, let's put it. And also there are overlapping of brands as well. I don't know if you noticed this. Every car manufacturer seems to be wanting to make every type of car for everybody. Maybe at different price ranges, but every type of car these days. So when I was harking back to when I was little, so when I was a boy, I remember Porsche made two-seaters. They made two-seater sports cars. You got the 911 and cars like that. And that was what they made. And then they decided they wanted to make the Panamera. They made a four-door car. And when they first made that car, there was a whole uproar, people going, that's not Porsche, that's not what they do. But they wanted to make it. They wanted to make a 4-door car. So then they made their 4-door car. And then they made the Macan, which is an SUV, and everyone, well, Porsche can't make the cars like that. That's not Porsche. They're 2-door sports cars. But the Macan became their best-selling car because it suits people's lifestyle. So they've changed from being just two-seat, 2-door sports cars, and they've pushed their models into other companies' areas. And we've got the same with cars like BMW and Audi. Again, they didn't used to have a small car. BMW 3 Series was the smallest car you could get. The Audi A4, I think, was the smallest car you could get. And then they brought out the 1 Series and the A3, A2, A1. Mercedes did the same. Mercedes never used to have a tiny little car until they brought out the A-Class. Certainly not in the UK anyway. So they started to impinge on another range of model size of car. So we have each of the companies expanding into different areas for them, overlapping each other more brands. There will naturally be, as I say, casualties. Some of these companies will disappear, and that's just going to be the natural way of it. So, do I care? Well, as I say, it'll be a shame to see someone like Volkswagen disappear. Do I really actually care that much though? No, not really. Life will go on. My life will carry on. I will do my job, look after my family, live my life, and they can do whatever they want to do. They can survive or collapse, or they can put their money into this or that, or they can invest there. That's up to them. Really doesn't matter to me. Does it matter whether EVs succeed in general? Not really. I mean, from my personal perspective, I've driven diesel in the past, I've driven petrol in the past, I'm now driving electric. I'm liking electric. It's better for me than having petrol or diesel, which I've had in the past. I prefer electric. But if electric cars weren't a thing, if they stopped being made, if the charge points were all taken back down again, then I could just buy a petrol car. I mean, it's not rocket science. I wouldn't want to be in a situation where I bought a brand new electric car, then a month later everything was taken away. I wouldn't want it to be some sort of law that was decreed and the ruling party went out and removed everything and made it illegal for people to charge their cars at home. That would obviously be a terrible thing, because I'd have put my money in and it would be of no value. But that's not going to happen. I mean, that kind of thing just not going to happen, is it? We have a lot of infrastructure out there now. I have my home charging point. For me, I know I can carry on using this car very successfully, well beyond the lifespan of this car. I've done over 50,000 miles now. I'm expecting the car to do over 100,000, maybe 150, maybe 200,000 miles. We'll have to see. Keep watching the channel and you'll probably find out eventually. But yeah, so for me, it doesn't really matter whether other people join me in driving electric or not. If you want to join me driving electric, then great. If you want to watch my videos to see what it's like and they convince you, then great. If you don't, fine. I mean, if you're one of those people who likes to go on Facebook and find any EV related story and then just write in the comments, I'm sticking to my diesel, thanks, then stick to your diesel. I don't give a monkeys whether you choose to stick to diesel or whether you change to electric or whatever. It's your choice. You don't have to tell me. So yeah, I don't really care. So all in all, the summary to this opinion piece on EV car sales is not they are going up and all is great, or they are going down and all is terrible. or they are going down, all is great, or all is going up and terrible. Whichever way, that's not my opinion. My opinion is I don't care. So I've stopped clicking on the links. I'm no longer watching the videos. Hopefully YouTube, Facebook, social media, the news will all start to realise I don't care. Stop feeding me those links. So thank you for watching. If you have any comments, put them down in the comment section. If you have an opinion, please put that there. Please tell me, please join in this conversation. Does it really matter to you? Are you actually bothered? And of course, if you like the video, subscribe if you like the channel. Go and have a look at some of my other videos. If you like those, like them, obviously. And as I say, thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.